Okay, so if you just stop for a second right now and really listen, how much of what you hear is, I don't know, useful, and how much is just noise?
It's a lot, usually.
Right. Now think about a sound, maybe a sound that's really pure, really sustained, one that seems to just bypass all that mental stuff,
Yeah.
and vibrates right into your core. What happens when you actually, allow that vibration to lead you instead of just your mind racing all the time?
Well, it's a pretty fundamental shift, isn't it, in how we perceive things? We're almost always running on high cognitive load,
Yeah,
driven by the mind.
totally.
But sound, it offers this elegant, really low-tech way to engage the body first, to move past the stress and find a kind of physical stillness.
Exactly. And that's really our mission for this deep dive. We're exploring the deceptively simple power of singing bowls.
Simple but powerful.
Yeah. We've gathered a whole stack of sources, stuff that blends, centuries of use with actual modern research, to see exactly how these sound tools might influence your well-being, your mood, physical tension, and importantly, your underlying physiology.
Yeah, because for ages, the effects were described in terms like energetic or spiritual, which is valid experience, of course.
Sure.
But now, we can also look at it through the lens of data.
Yeah.
We want to understand the mechanism, right?
Yeah.
How does this ancient thing, it's basically a metal bowl and a stick.
Ah, right.
How does that translate into measurable shifts in our health?
Okay, let's start there then.
Yeah.
With the most compelling empirical findings we found, let's unpack the work of Tamara Goldsby and her colleagues.
Okay.
They did an observational study specifically looking at Tibetan singing bowl meditation. They wanted to measure if the subjective feeling of relaxation had, objective correlations.
What's really fascinating is how clearly the results mapped onto, common signs of modern stress and distress.
Yeah.
For the participants in the sound meditation, the study found significant and measurable reductions across 4 key areas.
Okay, what were they?
Well, first, general tension, which is a big one for most people.
Ouch, yeah.
Second, anger. Third, fatigue. And fourth, depressed mood.
Wow. Tension, anger, fatigue, depressed mood. That really paints a picture, doesn't it, of our modern condition?
It does. And these aren't just minor shifts. These are pervasive elements of chronic stress, all showing improvement after just one session of intentional listening.
That's pretty remarkable.
And it wasn't just about reducing the negative stuff. That subtraction wasn't the only finding.
Oh.
The researchers also measured a definite increase in spiritual well-being across the whole group.
Okay, spiritual well-being. Can you define what they meant by that in this context?
Sure. So based on the tools they used, it wasn't really about religious beliefs specifically. It was more about feelings of interconnectedness, peace, hope, and having a sense of meaning or purpose. So the practice wasn't just numbing bad feelings. It seemed to be actively fostering something positive, a kind of grounding.
That sense of connection, that's powerful. But here's the bit that really stood out to me. The finding that could make this so accessible for, anyone listening. The study noted that participants who were completely new to this, totally naive to sound baths or meditation like this, they actually reported greater improvements overall, more than the people who already did this kind of thing regularly.
That is huge. It really suggests the barrier to entry is practically non-existent, doesn't it?
Right.
You don't need years of practice cultivating stillness. It seems like the physical nature of the sound vibration itself helps facilitate the state pretty much immediately, even for a total beginner.
Okay, but let's ground this a bit. We love these results, obviously, but for critical thinking's sake, what about the study's limitations, things we need to keep in mind?
Yeah, that's important. So the Goldsby study, it was observational and non-randomized.
Okay.
And crucially, it didn't have a control group. A group maybe listening to quiet music or just silence or white noise for comparison.
Right, so we can't say for sure it was the bowls alone causing the effect.
Exactly. The correlation is strong, it's promising, definitely. But we need to frame these as powerful initial observations. They really point the way for more rigorous clinical trials down the road.
Got it. That context is helpful. Okay, so let's pivot now to the mechanism, because this is where it gets really interesting, where the physics of sound meets biology. How does a simple sound wave actually translate into less tension, better mood inside our bodies?
Well, the key seems to be the autonomic nervous system, the ANS.
Okay.
When people report those big drops in tension, anger, fatigue, we can infer a direct biological shift happening. It looks like those sustained, steady tones act as a kind of anchor.
An anchor?
Yeah, an anchor that pulls the system out of that sympathetic nervous response.
Ah, so you mean flipping the switch away from survival mode, the fight or flight state?
Precisely. Think of your sympathetic system like a car that's always idling really high, maybe 5,000 RPMs.
Right, constantly revving.
Yeah, always mobilized, burning energy, ready to floor it. That's kind of what chronic stress feels like physiologically.
Okay.
The singing bowl sound seems to act like a gentle, steady pressure on the brake. It effectively lowers those RPMs and helps usher in the parasympathetic system.
The rest and digest mode.
Exactly. Rest, digest, repair. All the stuff that gets put on hold when we're stressed.
Okay, so the Goldsby study focused on mood shifts. But you mentioned other research has linked sound baths more directly to physical metrics, especially around the heart.
That's right. Other research indicates that practices like sound baths can positively influence heart rate variability, HRV.
HRV, right. I've heard of that. It's a stress marker.
It's a really sensitive marker for nervous system health, yeah. It measures the tiny variations in time between your heartbeats. It's not just about heart rate, but the rhythm.
Okay.
And generally, a higher, healthier HRV is linked to better emotional regulation, lower stress hormones like cortisol, and just overall better physical resilience.
That makes complete sense. So if your heart's pulse is like the main drum in your body's orchestra, the singing bowl is maybe like the conductor, inviting everything to sync up and calm down.
That's a great way to put it. It's both things happening at once.
Yeah.
A metaphorical shift in your emotional state and a literal, measurable regulation of the autonomic nervous system.
Wow. Okay.
And this brings us back to the physical reality of the vibration itself. You know, when we ask, how is this different from just listening to calming music?
Yeah, good question.
The answer seems to lie in the frequency and also the material of the bowl.
I think I remember you mentioning the sources suggest low-frequency vibrations are maybe more effective. Why is that?
Yeah, it seems so. It really comes down to basic physics and biology. Lower frequencies have longer wavelengths.
Okay.
And these longer sound waves can actually penetrate deeper into the body. They interact more readily with deep tissues like fascia, even bone structure, and especially the body's water content.
Ah, because we're mostly water?
Exactly. We act like this big resonant cavity. So that low, sustained hum literally causes a deeper physical resonance, like a micro-massage deep inside.
Okay, that's different.
Yeah, it makes it potentially much more effective at reducing physical tension compared to, say, music, which often uses higher frequencies for melody and might stay more on the surface auditorily.
So the sound isn't just hitting the eardrum and going to the brain, it's actually physically moving things inside your body, helping release tension held deep in the tissues.
That seems to be the idea. It's like neurological recalibration, but it's facilitated by direct physical vibration.
That really does change the game. Okay, so let's make this practical then, because it sounds incredibly accessible.
It really is.
If someone listening is intrigued, wants to try this, how do they start? What's the best way to practice?
Well, the beauty is in its simplicity, truly. First thing, comfort. You need to be comfortable.
Okay.
Lying down on your back is often ideal, or maybe a supported seated position if lying down isn't practical for you right now.
Makes sense. And then the sound source.
Right. So while recordings exist and are accessible, the physical presence of a bowl is generally considered best for that vibrational aspect.
Are there different kinds? Do the sources say anything about that?
Yeah, generally there are two main types you'll encounter. There are the traditional Himalayan bowls, often called Tibetan bowls. They're metal.
Okay.
They tend to create really complex, rich tones, often quite dissonant, lots of overtones.
Right.
Then you have the modern quartz crystal bowls. They usually produce clearer, purer, often louder single tones.
Ah, okay. So which is better for a beginner?
Honestly, either works to start, but maybe the metal bowls, because those complex harmonics might offer a bit more of that deep physical resonance we talked about, but really, whichever you connect with.
Got it. And the method, do you just, like, whack it?
Well, you strike it gently, usually with a padded mallet, or you can run the mallet around the rim to get that sustained singing tone.
Okay.
But, the physical action is almost secondary to the mental preparation. The real key is intentionality.
Intention.
Before you even start the sound, it's really helpful to set a specific, clear intention for your practice session.
Can you give an example? Something concrete, maybe tied back to the data we discussed.
Sure. An effective intention might be something present moment and specific. Like, I allow the vibration of this sound to release any tension I'm holding in my jaw and shoulders.
Okay.
Or, I allow this sound to soften my heart space and let my internal pulse slow down. You're basically giving the vibration a job to do, a kind of neurological directive.
Ah, so you're not just zoning out, you're actively engaging your mind to help facilitate the physical change you're looking for.
Exactly. You're participating in the process.
And this connects directly to that phrase you often hear with this practice, raising your vibration.
Yes. And now we can actually tie that maybe more abstract idea back to the science, back to the data.
How so?
Well, if sound is physical vibration
Mm-hmm.
and vibration is energy moving through matter, then the practice quite literally becomes an energy alignment tool.
Hmm.
That sustained, pure tone acts almost like a tuning fork for your system.
Tuning fork, I like that.
Yeah, bringing your system back into a state of coherence, of flow.
Mm-hmm.
You're using your sound body, the physical, watery, responsive tissue, to help align your energy body, which we can think of as your neurological and emotional state.
Wow. That integration, the subjective experience meeting the hard metrics, that really feels like the core of this, doesn't it?
It really does.
Yeah.
But before we wrap up, it's crucial we reiterate the necessary caution here.
Oh, absolutely. Need realistic expectations.
Yeah. While this is clearly a powerful wellness tool, it's important to be realistic.
Right. It should definitely be seen as an adjunct tool, something that's really beneficial for relaxation, maybe aligning energy, enhancing general well-being.
Absolutely. Singing bowls are not a medical cure. They're not a replacement for professional help, whether that's medical or mental health support.
Crucial point.
We really encourage you, the listener, to use these tools alongside healthy habits. And always, always seek professional help if you're dealing with serious or chronic conditions. It's just one part of a larger wellness toolkit.
Well said.
Yeah.
So, looking back at our sources, the key takeaway feels remarkably clear, actually.
Mm-hmm.
This simple meditative practice using resonant sound has been shown empirically, like with data, to effectively reduce some really pervasive markers of distress,
Yeah.
tension, anger, fatigue,
Right.
while at the same time boosting a measurable sense of spiritual well-being, that feeling of hope and connection.
Yeah.
And the fantastic news, maybe the most encouraging part, is that if you're new to this, the immediate benefits might be even greater for you.
It's a really beautiful, accessible intersection of physics and psychology, I think.
Totally agree. So,
Right.
what does this all really mean for you listening now? We started by asking, what happens when you let vibration lead you instead of just your mind?
Mm.
We live in this, well, it feels like an abyss of noise sometimes, doesn't it? Just a constant flood of digital pings and cognitive demands keeping our nervous systems running hot.
Constantly on.
Yeah, exactly. Perpetually running at those high RPMs. But the singing bowl, it offers a scientifically suggested way to actually interrupt that pattern.
A way to pause it.
Right. By focusing on a pure, sustained frequency, you're giving your body a chance to tune itself, to maybe drop your pulse rate, quiet the internal chatter, and find the literal rhythm of your own truth underneath all that mental noise. So maybe the question to reflect on is, in your daily routine, what you prioritize more? The constant hum of thinking, or the clarifying pulse you find when you truly listen?